Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, Mr. Ankur Warikoo, is a regional head of APAC Emerging Markets comprising of India, Indonesia, Thailand, and Philippines. He's CEO, GroupOn India Operations, and co-founder Accenture Web. He's going to be now stepping forward and talking to you all about experiential marketing and as to how to target the next generation of customers with content. Here he comes.
My name is Ankur Warikoo. I look after emerging markets at GroupOn. It's a fascinating experience. I'm truly lucky to be part of 4 countries that are... No problem. Okay. I'll try to be louder, and when I get too loud, you guys let me know. So I look after India, Indonesia, Philippines, and Thailand, truly 4 markets that are changing the way content is consumed. It is fascinating when I see every day how consumers are engaging with content on a daily basis and how brands are going way above what they've been doing in the historical past to connect with these audiences. Specifically around experiential marketing, it's a new fancy term that's come up in the recent years. It's about how brands are connecting with consumers in a way that's almost direct and at times, or more often than not, physical in nature. And one of the guys that I truly admire, Said Gordon, says this, which is so true than it was ever before. We're not in an industrial economy anymore, but we are in a place where it is about connections, and connections are creating value. When you see the biggest brands around you, they're all about connections, and we are dealing with them, and they are creating value not just for us, but for the brand as well. And this connection has given us this fancy term of experiential marketing. What I would do is pick up instances that GroupOn India went about and try and come up with what are the 5 top things that you should ask yourself as a brand when you are about to get into experiential marketing. Nothing of this would be rocket science. Nothing of this is something you don't know. What I'm going to attempt is try and intercept the questions with the specific experience that GroupOn executed and help you think of how it can happen for your brand as well. Number 1 is, who should I target? It's the most fundamental thing, but it becomes harder when you're talking about experiential marketing. If you want to connect with the audience in a way that's experience-enabled, you have to very accurately identify who you wish to engage. All the examples that we've seen where the brands had their inceptions in movies or in ads, whatever they were, it was still content, but it wasn't going all the way for the consumer to physically experience the brand. How do you really deliver on that? So what we had done, a little bit of background on this is GroupOn was earlier called Crazyl in India because of some technical issues that are not important. But here is something that we did. We wanted to reach out to audiences to get feedback on how we were doing. And we also wanted to, at the same time, do what we do best, which is give a deal. That's what GroupOn is about. So when The Dark Knight Rises released, we went to India's largest multiplex chain. And in the 12 cities that we're present in, we booked out the Saturday evening show across the entire city and the countries as well. That was a total of about 4,500 or 4,800 odd seats. And we gave a deal on that, which is a 50% off on the movie ticket. It's as simple as that. It's a GroupOn deal, 50% off on the Saturday evening show of The Dark Knight Rises across the country. And it was only available for GroupOn customers. What happened because of this are 2 things. One, every customer that bought that ticket did get the deal. It's the most fundamental thing that you would do. However, they also engaged with the brand when they were at that physical location. We had that entire location covered in GroupOn branding. We had the slide. So this was the slide that we had right on the screen when they entered the hall. It was still called Crazy Hill. We had giveaways that were about Batman. More importantly, at each of those destinations, we ourselves were present, speaking to the customers, getting feedback, hearing about how they feel about the brand, what is it that we can do better, what is it that we have been doing good that they like, so on and so forth. And it's fascinating. We have tracked those 4,800 odd people thereafter on GroupOn and their activity as well. And they are in the top 7% GroupOn customer base that is way higher than any other customer sect or section that we have had before. So that 4,800 section by itself is disproportionately higher engagement and higher business value to GroupOn than has been any other segment. And at this point of time, we were almost at an adrenaline rush. We thought, we've cracked it, we know how it works, let's keep doing this. So we came up with this. And it just absolutely bombed. It just fell on our face as hard as it could. And we realized that the audience that was engaging with us at this brand level and the content that was being generated by the Dark Knight needn't be the one that was also looking for the Bang 2 and Salman Bhai, irrespective of how good he is or not. And this told us the most fundamental thing of about who should we have targeted. Had we chosen something else, maybe it could have done better or maybe not. But the fact that we had exactly the same experience, exactly the same concept, exactly the same execution being managed for two content pieces in an experiential mode, giving us different results, which made us smarter about going about targeting who do we want to target. Second, how do I connect? In experiential marketing, that's the most fundamental question you're asking. What is it that you're going to do when the consumer is right in front of you engaging with your brand? What is the experience that you're going to deliver to that consumer and how? We are a very local brand. We are all about deals near you, deals in your city. And we always have pockets of less engagement and high engagement, as would be for any other business similar to ours. So we identified about 53 odd locations which were under-penetrated for us as a brand. And these are very micro in nature. They go down to the level of a pin code, at times even localities, where we have lesser engagement. So we have enough supply of great deals, but we don't necessarily have enough demand coming in. And in those cases, it's very hard for you to do online marketing, to even do content, to even do brand, do mass media, so on and so forth, because it's just very micro in nature. So we came up with the next thing, or this option. We went to India's largest coffee chain, which is virtually present in every nook and corner. And we simply ran a concept which said, if you step into the store and if you sign up to receive GroupOn newsletters, which is our way of communicating on a daily basis, you get a free cappuccino. But that's very simple, and that just doesn't end there. Once they got that free cappuccino, I wish I had an image, but I couldn't find that. The customer got the cappuccino with the GroupOn branding on the cappuccino itself with coffee powder. So we gave stencils to the CCD outlets, and they made sure that every coffee that came about had the GroupOn branding when they came to the customers. And it was unbelievable the kind of response it generated. It's not something we thought would generate any response. We thought it would just be a very brand recall thing where people would get a free cappuccino and they're happy about it. They sign up on GroupOn. But when they drink it, it wouldn't matter whether they're seeing a brand or a smiley face or whatever it is. But we had people tweeting about it. We had people Facebooking it. We had people WhatsApping it. We had people writing into us that it was just something they hadn't experienced before. And it was lovely because at the end of it, it not just gave us the business results that we were looking for, it also allowed us to literally solve a business problem that we didn't know how to solve before. How do you get micro-level efficiency of marketing with something that is experience-led? And this was a fascinating example. So how you engage with the user and what kind of experience are you delivering determines what kind of effect you would also get thereafter. Third, is the experience unique to the customer? What you don't want to do is be the same noodle store or kiosk at every mall trying to get them to sample it, or the same Coke drink or the same place, so on and so forth. You have to create an experience that is unique for the customer so that he or she thinks that you truly know what they want or would like to experience. So I'm going to be a bit sneaky here because this is my way of showcasing something that's currently live. Go on to GroupOn and experience this. But we've created this property called the Delicious Week, which is Delhi and Shears Week. Not smart about that. And it's in association with something called the Delhi Gourmet Club. For foodies who are there in Delhi, this is a club that you should be part of. What we've done is the following. We have gone to Delhi's top 11 restaurants, and these are the restaurants that you can think of. I wouldn't name them necessarily, but you can go to the page and find out. But these are the top 11 restaurants, and we have gone in and curated a menu specifically for GroupOn customers. And it is at a price that is absolutely ridiculous, starting $999, but I don't want to market that idea right now. So the idea is at 11 restaurants of Delhi, you get to experience a specially designed menu that you can't buy off the shelf. It's done in conjunction with the chef. He or she and we have sat together and literally carved out this menu. And when you go in there, you get that GroupOn experience. So when you go to that restaurant, you get that GroupOn menu, you get that GroupOn experience, and that lends itself a uniqueness that the customer hasn't experienced before. It's almost as if saying, this menu is for you. Needless to say, because it's only 11 restaurants, it's only a week, there is limited capacity. We've already sold out 2 restaurants. And that lends in an extra exclusivity factor that is almost magical when you're thinking of experiential marketing as a concept. So if you can have an experience that is unique and also in some way exclusive, wherein you tend to limit the demand or at least create a sense of limited demand, it manifolds itself in the way it executes. Next one is also the fact that is the experience unique to the brand. Are you standing for something, or are you creating an experience that truly stands for what your brand is about? You cannot be doing virtually anything and everything just because you want to get the customer to experience your brand. Is creating a kiosk in a mall the right thing for your brand? Is creating an interactive screen when they are traveling somewhere, so on and so forth, the right thing? Is doing anything else the right thing for your brand as against what some other brand would have done? And in here, about last year, we had an interesting concept to drive up engagement on the site. We had a very simple raffle. And the raffle was, you don't have to pay anything when you come to GroupOn. You just participate in the raffle. That's pretty much it. But what the user got at the end of it was what we thought was unique to the GroupOn experience. So the raffle award was that they get an all-expense-paid trip to Las Vegas. Why Las Vegas and why not anything else? Why not New York? Why not Bangkok? Why not Kerala? Why not Rajasthan? And then they also stay at the Bellagio. Why not some other hotel? Why not so on and so forth? And they also get some money to spend. And all through the mile, so the individual who got this is someone from Bombay. And we taped him all through. So we created content through his entire journey. Of course, we weren't hanging out with him during that vacation, but we taped him when he got that award through the sequence of him claiming it, them boarding the flight, also receiving at Las Vegas. And all through, he was given the GroupOn experience. So when he was at Las Vegas, he was showcased all the deals that were available in the Las Vegas area for him to avail. It was curated for him. The Bellagio had set up a separate destination or a separate area for GroupOn, specifically for the 2 of them who went in. In the airline as well, we had the GroupOn branding in there. And all this was pretty much at the same cost that we would have given for anything else. But these things were tied in because that's what we want, or we wanted at that point of time the brand to speak of. That we're all about getting the best things in life at almost crazy prices, or always at a deal, or always at a promotion. And that's the concept we wanted to penetrate the consumer's mind with, which was in tying with the fact that the brand could have been virtually giving away anything for that amount of 2 odd lakhs, but the experience that was created was unique to this brand that hadn't been done before. We did a similar engagement with Harley, and we gave away a Harley for pretty much the same exercise. And that was also in a very different style than what most brands end up doing. And finally, when you are thinking of experiential marketing as a channel or as an effective medium for how you execute your marketing plans, you will generate a lot of content and a lot of unique, high-quality content, because that's perhaps the only way where you are measuring your customer, engaging with your brand, and almost recording their reactions the way it's happening. How you capitalize on that, which is the last point, is truly whether experiential marketing will take you to the next level or pretty much stay at the local one. The trouble with experiential marketing is it always tends to reach a smaller set of individuals and create high impact within them. But whether that small section of customer extends beyond a larger group is contingent of how well you answer that question. So the thing that we are proudest of, and I will be for some time before we come up with the next thing, is the deal that we did last year, which went absolutely crazy and got us a lot of visibility. We just did a deal on onions. As simple as that. They were going through a crazy time, and we were all missing on onions. We wanted to give a funny take on that entire thing and still do what GroupOn does best, give a deal. So we ran onions at 9 rupees a kg. And it was a conscious business choice to do it that way. We sold approximately 22,000 unique kgs of onions. And why do I say unique? Because we only limited it to 1 kg per delivery address. So it wasn't as if you could stock up. It wasn't if you were a wholesaler or a retailer or a distributor who wanted to just buy hordes and hordes and have trucks coming in. We didn't want to fulfill the demand for onions. We just wanted to take a crazy view on what the onion situation was in the country. But we were only touching about 22,000 people, and that wasn't the intent. The intent wasn't to just touch 22,000 people and leave the rest. The intent was to create this experience into an absolutely wild thing that would work for the brand. And before the deal was launching, we sent this teaser to most of the well-known media individuals in the country. And we just got them hooked. We said there's something happening tomorrow at 1 p.m. that you need to witness. And this was the teaser that went down. Pretty much this. At that point of time, almost every journalist or everyone worth its salt was thinking of onions and just writing about them, how it's reached hundreds, so on and so forth. And, excuse me, we ran this teaser, and consciously, the first day itself, we released 5,000 kgs of onions and stopped at that. We didn't want to sell beyond that. We could have easily sold 100,000 kgs if we wished to, but there's a reason we sold only 22. We stopped it at 5, and we said, that's all we're going to do, but we're going to sell another 3 tomorrow exactly at the same time at 1. And then another 3, same time at 1 again, so on and so forth for 7 days. So the next day, which was day 2, by the time the media had picked it up, they'd absolutely gone ballistic. I'll share the stats with you in the next slide. So the next day, when 1 p.m. struck, we released it and our site crashed. For the first time in GroupOn history, any country site crashed for all of 13 minutes because we just couldn't manage that traffic that had come in. And what happened is people experienced the brand, but in its most fundamental naked form, which was the brand itself. So we created content to create an experience around it, which was very personal. It was about onions. It wasn't about dining at a restaurant. It wasn't about getting a spa or a salon. It was about onions, as fundamental as that. And we drove people to experience the brand, which is what we stood for. And here are most of the results. So this is Google Trends. The blue one is GroupOn as the keyword. I think it's red. The red one is the keyword onion. Okay? And both search queries for GroupOn and for the keyword onion peaked on those 7 days that we ran that campaign. We went back to Google, and you can check that Google has released as part of their 2013 survey what were the highest search keywords for each day and each city. And on the day that this campaign was released, GroupOn and GroupOn India was in the top 5 searches in every city of India on that day itself. And these are the final metrics. So we generated PR worth about $200,000. This was covered by Wall Street Journal, it was covered by Huffington Post, it was covered by Time. We have a case study in 3 universities on this experience. We generated more than 330 million impressions of just this standalone campaign. Onionify, which was a hashtag that we created on Twitter, trended on Twitter for 3 days and created over 31 million impressions. And Facebook, we had about 16,000 odd mentions with about 10 million odd impressions created. This is fascinating, but honestly, it doesn't happen every so often. I'm lucky to be part of this, but I cannot claim to make another one, and I would always be happy if this comes through either for me or for anyone else. But the ethos remains the same, or the sentiment remains the same, that you've created an experience for the customer which was very narrow. It only touched about 20,000 people, but you created or magnified that content in a way that worked for you as a brand. And each of those 5 questions will always be the fundamental questions that you're driving at when you think of how experiential marketing should go. Who should you target? Very critical question, depending on the content that you're creating. Second, how do I connect? What is the experience that the customer will eventually get? Because that will stay in their mind as being an experience from that brand. Third, is the experience unique to the customer? Don't make it sound as if it's just another day in the week or just another brick in the wall. And more importantly, it still has to be unique to your brand as well, so that there is a distinct identity. Same examples shared for Red Bull. There is a distinct identity in how they execute those campaigns or those experiences for the customer. And ultimately, for experiential, you'll always have the challenge of reaching a narrow set of audiences. How do you magnify that and capitalize on the content? Great. Thank you so much. That's all I had to share. I'm available here. Please feel free to reach out.
Thank you very much for your presentation.